Hi, this is Miss Litton, and this is my wonderful 7th period of honors biologist. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, so we're going to review the cell. First thing I want to say right off the bat, know your structures. One of your questions, I will point to organelles and ask you, what is this? Okay, know your structures. I'm just putting this right at the beginning in case it's late at night and you're reviewing and it's like 11 o'clock and you have to go get a piece of toast, okay? Second thing you know is going to be on here is I will do something like I will list a structure and I will have a function associated with it, and you'll either have to pick the correct one or pick the what? Incorrect one. Like I might have several choices. I might say ribosome is for digestion. And you would go, that is what? Wrong. Because a ribosome is used for what? Protein synthesis. So I'll have several paired up items and you have to pick the correct one. Okay? So you need to know the structure. So if I say, hey, what's this? You would tell me what? Golgi. If I said, hey, what's this? You would tell me nucleus. And here? Vacuole. And this?
Chloroplast.
Good. What's this?
Wait, are those churro?
Not a churro. And it's a plant cell, so you know it doesn't have a churro, which you mean centriole, but yes. What is this? Can you tell what that is? It's the same as this one. Golgi apparatus. Do you see that? Okay. What do you think this is right here? Smoothiar. And this is the?
Roughiar.
And what makes it rough?
The ribosomes.
Good. And what are these hard to see? Centrioles. Good. And do you find those in plant cells?
No.
No, you do not. What is that? Mitochondria. Do you find that in plant cells?
Yes.
Yes, right there. Right? Okay. So you want to know what's this thing called? Nucleus. And this?
Nucleolus.
Good. All right, yay. Okay. So know your structures and then know what each of those things do so you have no problem differentiating. Know, like, what are different? Like, what are some things we could say this plant has that definitely the animal doesn't have? Cell wall. That's unique here. Well, comparing just these two. Bacteria can have it, right? Okay. What else? A large central vacuole. Vacuole. Okay. What else? A cell. Oh, we got cell wall already. Large central vacuole. Something else.
Chloroplast.
Thank you. Chloroplast. Good. Okay. What's something an animal cell has that a plant cell doesn't? Yes, right there. What did she say? Centrioles. Is there anything else? Do they both have mitochondria?
Yeah.
Yes, you're not going to miss that one, right? Okay. So know that. And then the other thing I would say is don't forget about your, what are these? Additional. Do you have an additional objective? Oh, okay. I have one on the quiz. What? I'll make sure to take it off. I guess I didn't put it on your calendar. My bad. I need to be reminded of that. Somebody should write me a note.
I'll write it one.
Here, I have a sticky. Because I looked at the quiz and I'm like, that's an additional objective, but I don't remember putting them on the calendar. Okay, good strategy. All right. Okay, I think I feel good about that. Now, next thing you could get asked about is the cell theory. Do you remember the 3 parts to the cell theory? See if you can remember the parts of the cell theory. Okay. All living things are composed of cells. What else? Cells are the structural and functional unit, and cells only come from pre-existing cells. Okay, next thing I want to talk to you about is scale. We know that cells are very small, and why do we want cells to be small? So they have a large surface area per volume, because everything goes across the cell membrane. Okay, so you want to have a large surface area to volume. Perfect. Okay, and And riddle me this. Appers, you should be clicking in because it's good practice for you. Okay, that's all I am patient for. Aww. Only eukaryotic organisms are made of cells? Please. Who's made of cells? Everything. Atom, molecule, organelle, cell. Okay, that was scary. I think that was an AP student as well. All right. Now, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Which ones are bigger? Eukaryotic. Which ones have organelles? Eukaryotic. Which ones have DNA? Both. Which ones have ribosomes? Both. Good. Okay. So prokaryotic cells, they have different shapes. We looked at that. Okay, they're simpler. They don't have a nucleus, right? They have a nucleoid region. Okay, the area where the single circular chromosome is located. Single circular chromosome is located. And if we, let's go right here. Okay, all cells are going to have a barrier that is the same. What do all cells have definitely as a barrier? A cell membrane. All cells have a cell membrane, and that decides what goes in and what goes out. Okay, so that's not going to change whether you're talking about a prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell. Additionally, they could have a cell what? Wall. Okay, and what do cell walls? That's not going to change either. Cell walls will do what for you? Protect you, okay? And as long as you're small, you can get through a cell wall, right? It's not like the wall is deciding who goes in and out, okay? If it's small and it can pass through, gases can pass through, water can pass through, okay? When we looked at other things on there, you could have a carbohydrate shell that's out there on the outside. It could be hard, it could be not. You could have other attachments out here. What is this right here? Flagellum. What is that going to help with? Movement. Good. You could have things that help you attach. What's that called? Fimbriae. Yeah, fimbriae help you attach. And if you're in the mood, you could even have some what? Sex with your what? Sex pillows. Remember that? Where you exchange DNA across your sex pillows. Okay? Additionally, they could have inside of them an extra ring of DNA, and that's called a what? Plasmid. And genetic engineers like to manipulate that, and you will as well. And moving on, let's look to this big picture item. Okay? Bacteria are prokaryotes, and archaea are also prokaryotes. What could we say that what helps us differentiate archaea from bacteria, even though they're both prokaryotic? What do archaea have that's different from bacteria? Do you remember? Yes. Yes. Their walls and their membranes are structurally different. What else can you tell me about that part is different? What else? Yes?
Isn't there like DNA similar to eukaryotes?
Yeah, their DNA is more similar to the eukaryotes than they are. Their DNA is similar to eukaryotes, closer than it would be to bacteria. And that's why it probably evolved after bacteria. So even though it says archaea, which means ancient, it's really not. It's newer than bacteria. One more thing, they tend to live in very, what? Extreme environments. Now, eukaryotic cells, okay, we talked, these are the different kingdoms that are in eukaryotic cells. Protista are usually single cells, but some can be multicellular, and plants and animal and fungus. And we had this little chart right here where we compared prokaryotic cells to eukaryotic cells. And the easiest way I think to look at it is one of like a really nice big house with lots of room would be like a eukaryotic cell. And what would be an example of a prokaryotic cell?
Apartment or apartment?
I would even go smaller.
Studio?
Those little tiny, you know, have you watched the show? What do they call them? Tiny
house hunters.
Tiny houses. And it's like everything is in that one little room, right? Their kitchen, their bedroom, their living room is a tiny house, okay? You don't have any partition cell walls. You don't have areas that are separated for separate things. It's all in that one little room. That would be like a prokaryotic cell. Go get your own clicker thief. Have you read about the book Thief yet? Some of you are clicker thieves.
Pretty sure?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I swear. You can come in. Appers are reviewing with us. No. No. Absence of nucleus, right? Absence of nucleus. There's no nucleus in a prokaryotic cell. Okay? You do have a what? Nucleoid. That's a region where the DNA is hanging out. But it's not enclosed within a membrane. Remember, eukaryotic cells have a nucleus, right? What's inside the nucleus? Nucleolus in us. Remember how I remember that? Okay. Now, the next part of the notes basically just had you learn and review each of the structures and each of their functions. Okay? So let's just quickly go through structures and functions, and then I'll just ask you a bunch of clicker questions about it. Okay? So who would you call the brain of the cell? Okay, good. What's inside there that makes it the brain of the cell? DNA. Good. So you have your DNA that's inside of there. Good. Now, when I want to get that information out, what do I use to convey, like we have nerves, right, to take the information out from our brain. What do we use to get the information out to the cell? Messenger RNA. So I'm going to make a copy of this DNA. I'm going to make a copy of it, and this is mRNA. This mRNA is going to go out and get on a workbench. Where is that workbench? On a ribosome, because a ribosome is the workbench for what? Protein synthesis. And I'm going to use some other RNAs as well. I'm going to be using rRNA, that's part of the ribosome, and what other RNA will I use? tRNA. What's the tRNA? I cannot spell today, my RNA. What's the tRNA going to do? Transfer amino acids, because what am I trying to build, my friends? A protein. So now I'm going to build my protein, and if I build it on, what's this stuff right here? Rough ER. So let's say I build my protein right here. This protein can move through the rough ER. Oh, I need to go over here. Through the rough ER and move into the what? Golgi apparatus. And when I think of the Golgi apparatus, I'm thinking this as what? What is it? UPS man. Yeah, UPS man. And this compartmentalizes. I'm so good today. Okay, so the UPS man can package it and put it in a vesicle, and maybe it's going to get brought to the edge of the cell and excreted or not. So I'm linking my DNA with my ER with my Golgi apparatus. We all right with that? But there's another part of our endomembrane system. If this right here contains powerful digestive enzymes, what could it be called? And it is a lysosome. Oh my gosh, I happened to pick the right one. A lysosome, and we would call that the what of the cell? The stomach of the cell. Good. Perfect. Questions or concerns about that? Okay, so we know that there are other items in here as well. You could have a peroxisome. Is there one on here? Oh, right there, peroxisome, right here. Okay, so your peroxisome contains enzymes, and I told you it will take care of what? Something acids. Fatty acids. But we also know, yeah, hydrogen peroxide. Good. And then also you could have, though they're not, you don't see them as large in animal cells, but they're bigger in plant cells, what could you have? A vacuole, yeah. So you could have a vacuole, we could just call that a vacuole. And that vacuole, if it's in a plant cell, it's going to be really big and help with turgor pressure and support, right? It could be a contractile vacuole to regulate water. It could hold and store things. Those are all things that vacuoles could do. Okay, then we come to our energy organelles. Who are our two energy organelles? Mitochondria. What happens in the mitochondria? It's the powerhouse, and what does it do? Makes ATP through what process? Cellular respiration. And if you ask the AP biologists in here, they could give that to you in great detail, could you not? Okay. And plant cells, if I had a picture of a plant cell, that would be our other energy organelle. And what's in the plant cell? What would this be? This would be a chloroplast. And what's the chloroplast for? Photosynthesis. Good. Okay, and then if I was going to look at the next thing, I could talk about the cytoskeleton. Remember we talked about microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. And all of those have to do with what? Movement and support and structure. And you can see part of that. What is that called? Starts with this C. I can see part of it right here. I don't know where, is it labeled somewhere on this? Cytoskeleton, good. So your cytoskeleton, you can kind of see parts of it right in here, or part of the cytoskeleton that it's used for support. Oh, is it over here?
In the corner.
Oh, do you mean this big word right here? Okay, sweet. Oh, yes, and point it out right there. Perfect, thanks guys. Okay, and then I could also have, what would that be? Flagella, or I could have what? What would that be? Not the fimbriae, but that would be a bacteria, but sort of the C. Cilia. Okay? So I could have flagella, I could have cilia, okay? And that could either move the object or move things across the cell. And then that's going to bring me to the churros. Who are the churros known as? Centrioles. Now, they sit in what's called a microtubule organizing center, and they send microtubules across that help during cell division. But where don't we find the churros? In plant cells. Okay. Yet what they could have come from is you do find that structure, okay, as a what's called basal body that could anchor the what? Flagella. Okay, that could anchor the flagella. Okay, that was like everything, I think. And you have plenty of pictures. Let's see how you do. I'm not going to give you a lot of time because I expect you to know them fast. 5, 4. Appers, you should be answering these too because you should know them. Oh no, son of Satan is here. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not. Oh, anger.
Who's doing that?
No, no. That's the UPS man. Most of you got that. The Golgi apparatus. 5, 4, 3, 2. You guys ought to know them like this. 1. The control center is the, tell me.
Nucleus.
Good. If I wanted mitochondria, what kind of things would I say? Powerhouse, cellular respiration.
It's the same person every time.
They probably just need a hug and a little bit of attention.
And a little bit of a punch.
We would have 300 in a row, which would break the
I
record.
know. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Did you write me that note? Here, so I put it on my computer. Thank you. And I got a heart.
And a smiley.
And a smiley. I feel super special.
Oh my god, that
Stomach of the cell is the lysosome. Okay. Already asked you that, right?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. Okay then, Papa. 3, 2, 1.
It's someone on purpose. Check what their name is.
Yeah, it's satisfied. You can check whatever book
It supports. It's protective. It's permeable. It's not a decider. It just is. Supports. It protects. Yeah, I could see why you'd pick cell membrane, but if I was going to describe the cell membrane, I would say it allows things to go what?
In and out.
In and out. Right? AP, phospholipid bilayer, proteins, carbohydrate side chains, glycolipids, glycoproteins, yes? Could you think of experiments I could use AP biologists to check how a cell membrane works as a model? Yes. I believe that's a potential essay question. No, have you looked at them yet?
What is the nucleus?
Just end it now.
Yay! 1.
I didn't even get the question down. Wait, let me download the question.
Still down. Wait, you guys switch something?
Do you feel ready? No?
I could be wrong. Don't take my word for it. That's what I'm gonna be.
Oh,
It's not only one person.
you're a little
We should have like 4 right now. See, I get it right.
Tell me.
Ori, stop it.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Ori, your sabotage is not appreciated. We're under the umbrella of safety and support here.
This is A for
This
sure.
is a loving environment.
This is A for sure.
Okay, site of protein synthesis is always going to be a what? Ribosome. It could be a ribosome that's attached to the ER or free, right? It could be a free one as well. That's how peroxisomes are made. Who's representing period 2 in here?
I am.
Yeah, they got 8, everybody. 8. All right. So let's talk about where are centrioles found? Animals. Just animals. How about chloroplasts? Plants. What about a cell wall? Plants. And fungi, right? But I'm just comparing those two. What about mitochondria? Both. Okay, I think we are good on that. We did that once before. Guys, that's it. Good job. I'm proud of you. Review. Remember, this is a partner quiz. Remember, partner quiz. Find a good buddy. What? Ori, I would do partner quizzes in AP, but no. Make good choices.